Hello everyone, welcome to my first lecture, the course Data Analysis and Artificial Intelligence. Today, in the first lecture, we are going to learn about Introduction to Data Analysis and Business Intelligence. So, this is our lecture number one. In the next slide, we will see the agenda of today's lecture. In today's class, we will learn first of all introduction to data analysis and business intelligence. Then we understand data analysis and its purposes in business, especially. And then we explore the business intelligence, which is called BI. After that, we see one example using case study using sports. And then we just recognize the patterns, types of the patterns and data analysis, why patterns are important. And then we finally see the data processing chain and its steps. So let's start the lecture. So now what is data analysis? Before going to the detail of the data analysis, we understand what is data and why we analyze it. So first of all, data. In order to understand data, we need to understand where the data come from. What is the origin of the data? So to understand the origin of data, we need to understand what is a business. A business is an act of doing something productive to serve someone's need. And so once we have a business organizations or business activities recorded on the paper are using electronic media, and then these records becomes data. Once we have the data is all about raw material and it's millions and trillions of the data available. So we need to dig inside the data in order to analyze, in order to mine the proper information from within the data. So data analysis is a process of systematically applying statistical and logical techniques to evaluate, to interpret, to and derive insight from the data. There are three terms used here: to evaluate, interpret, and derive where insight from the data. So we dig inside of the data that we got it from the business activities, and then converting this raw data into the meaningful patterns, trends, and useful information. There are three things from the data: we get meaningful patterns, trends, and information. We will learn these patterns, trends, and information. For now, what we do is dig inside the raw data that business inputs us, and then we go inside using different techniques and tools and find the pattern within side of the data and trends, and then we make it like a good useful information. Why we need this information? To support business decision making and improve the operational efficiency of the businesses. So we continue what format and what size data is available. Data is available in a different format and different size, depends upon the type of the data. So data can be a text file, a data can be an image, a data can be a video, a data can be audio, a data can be a Word file, a database record, a Excel file, or a TXT file. Nowadays, there are like a different types of the file and formats of the file available for the data. Normally, business records are recorded in the databases or in the Excel format or in the CSV format. Then, still, why this data analysis is uh, is used and why it is helping and what format it is helping. In what way it is helping? It is helping business to understand the customer's need and track performances and response to the market trends. What are the new trends in the market? What are the new models of the iPhone in the market? And what the customers are buying nowadays? And by feeding this into the operations of the business, by inputting this business information, it meets a better customer expectations and adopts the industry changes inside the businesses with the help of data analysis. There, in this slide, we will discuss about what are the business intelligence and data mining cycle. We have four different steps in business intelligence. First of all, we have a business, which is main pillar, which is main when company that produces the data. Once it generates the data, we saw how a business generates the data. It records the activities and generates the data. Data is big data, huge data, and it's useless, and we have to process it. We have to mine it in order to get useful information and intelligence that supports better decision making, to support uh, big business to become more efficient and efficient serving to customers' need.
Yes, in this slide, we see business intelligence, what business organizations do and why they do. Basically, business organizations monitors business activity in order to find their environment and performances. Why they monitor and what they monitor? They monitor four things. Number one is they monitor industry trends. What, for example, I just always quotes the Apple example. What is the current Apple in the market? Apple product in the market. For example, nowadays iPhone 16 is there. Then what are the competitors? For example, for Apple, the Samsung is the competitors of the Apple industry, and then the suppliers. What are their suppliers? Who are their suppliers? And then how the manufacturing is appearing, and then the customers. They monitor their customers' needs, customer requirements, customer satisfaction. They do all the things. They keep eye on these four things. Why? But why they do that? Because they need a future plan for the businesses in order to make it profitable and efficient. Based on the data analysis for these track records, they use better analysis, and they use this balance scorecard. A scorecard is essential for the business in order to find their performances. So, because they also monitor the performances and the environment for their better business and plan for the future. So, business cards give them, track them, the organization health and validity. Means how wealthy is the business and how it is vital. How it is vital. What is the market value of the business? So for that, they use some indexing system like KPI, key performance indexes, and key result areas called key result areas, KRAS, we call the KRAS, key result area, for determining what they are monitoring and to update themselves in order to find their performances. So these type of reports are very helpful, and they requires the information to up to date themselves, and then they transform these reports into the dashboards. The dashboards are the buffer that gives you the easy and quick insight of the uh, performances of the business organizations. What is business intelligence, which is BI? So BI is a collective set of IT-based solutions and tools that include gathering, analyzing, and report informations that given as an input to a user. And what user do with this information? The user can then decide whether he is going to do investment on that particular business or not, because the solution can help different investors, different stakeholder of the business, whether what is this performance of the organizations and environment of the organization. We can see the example in the next slide. Yes, so this is the example where business and intelligence insight by location I gave you in a table, that business organizations or business owners or investors, different user want to know. So the owner of the business want to know the fast selling item from the data, a regional based seller, seasonal ideas, products sold together, means combined with another product, and the tendency to buy certain products in a different location. For example, in a table, different locations of the stores are given. One store is in London, one store is in Helsinki and Turku and New York. After finding the question's answers, that the organization owners are the big organization, multinational firms, then create promotion plans. They do some like Christmas plans, they do some seasonal plans, they do some, there are like multiple plans they have that to interact and find good customers for themselves. Then they design products according to the need and usability of the market and region. For example, Helsinki is much colder than London, and again, New York has a different trends and different style of seasons there, so they require different sort of products. After that, they can optimize the store layout according to the usage and the location, and they decide based on these IT solutions called business intelligence reports. Let's talk about now the patterns. Patterns are everywhere in our life and the data we analyze. And patterns is a model that identify connection between seemingly unrelated elements. It is a like a thread that brings clarity to the complexity. It makes things easier when we have a complex problem, that the pattern helps to make them clear. Pattern also is crucial because it simplifies complex information and making digestible and actionable. Patterns help us to forecast trends, make decisions, and understand relationship within a data. There are three examples now given is below. We have a general scientific law that everybody can understand. It is predictable that always sun always rises in the east. And we have a generalization from the Pareto principle, that he says that as 80% of outcomes comes from the 20% of causes. We can see in the business that 80% of sale comes from the 20% of the loyal customers. And then we have relationships between ice cream and a sunny weather. When there is a sunny weather, people tend to buy more ice cream. When there's rainy weather, we can see there is less chances that people buy the ice cream. So on the surface, the connection might seem unrelated, but data reveals a trend. There's a trend between weather and the ice cream sale. Let's explain what makes a pattern or a model as an ideal or a based perfect model. There are three characteristics. Number one is accuracy. First, it should be accurately describe the situation. It's more, for example, Newton's law precisely explain physical motions. Number second is like broad applicable. Broad applicable is it should make work across different scenarios. For example, the Pareto principle, or the 80 percentage of the sale come from 20 percentage employee rule applies in economics and in everyday life. Number third important part is the simplicity. uh, it is easy to understand, like Einstein formula, that E equals to mc square. E is the energy, m is the mass, and c is the speed of the light, which elegantly connects energy, mass, and the speed of the light. While these qualities define it ideal, it is rare to find pattern that excels in all three areas, and compromises are often needed. So, likewise, we can achieve two good pillars like accuracy and broadly applicable, but we can miss somehow the simplicity. Likewise, we have to adjust two and three like ratios in order to find the best pattern, our ideal pattern. Now let's talk about types of the patterns. There are different types of the pattern. Generally, we are targeting three types here: temporal, spatial, functional patterns. Temporal patterns repeat over time. Example, some people are always late. And another example, traffic peaks during rush hours, we know always. And number three, seasonal sales spikes. For example, Christmas say seasonal sale, Black Friday, we have third Boxing Day sales. So these are the temporal, they repeat time by time, over by time. Second type of pattern is like a spatial pattern, that is arrangements in following specific patterns. Like for example, we know top 20% of customers generating 80% of revenue, and from the petro we already noticed, and the store location is also affecting the customers visits. If the location of the store is far away from the city, people don't go there. If the store is located in the main city and closer to the where people are living and going, this affects on the business also. And number third, heat map is a map which shows the website user clicks, how many times a user clicks on the website. Heat maps shows. So these are the special patterns. Number third type of the pattern is functional patterns. For example, action is the outcomes of the something. For example, actions leading to a specific outcome, such as varying students' performance based on the question types. When teacher have in class, and some students like to have essays, answers to essays. Some wants to have a multiple choice questions. Some wants to have the practical examples. Some wants to have been good in oral presentations. So that these sort of patterns will from the students will help teacher to make a good exam preparations. Now, in this slide, we learn about leveraging patterns in business and education. In business, we know this rule from Petro, that 80 by 20% rule often applies. For example, 20% of product may cause 80% of customer service calls. This pattern help companies to identify which products needs improved customer education and documentation. By addressing this small subset of products, companies can reduce costs significantly and enhance customer satisfaction. Means that some products which are not in sale, and people are customers not giving attention to those products, then company can educate and do some promo for those products, that customer get interested on those products. Another big problem in education nowadays, that universities and school organizations tries to gather data about why students are leaving them, why they are not returning good ratio of students. They come to know that The research showed that the students often leave for the social reasons like feeling disconnected, unsupported, rather than purely academic struggles. This pattern, which the schools find, will help focusing on engagement strategies such as mentorship programs, social events like parties, or better integration, more grounds, more like football games and cricket games and other engagement activities can retain their students. They after that they apply these strategies and they find 15 percentage improvement in their students ratio. Now we wrap up the patterns now. So patterns are very important, we know, but patterns are not always permanent. They are not permanent. They might be broken up by the new information or new sort of data and may evolve or disturbed by new anomalies. Anomalies are that minimum or maximum value changes. There's a disruptions in the data. For example, in 2008, the financial crisis appeared, and that makes assumption that break the patterns that there was assumption that the housing prices are always high, but the crisis make it down, and we learned that we cannot rely on the patterns, and we just need to learn and follow the patterns varieties. So this teaches us to remain flexible and critical when using patterns. Always ask, are these patterns still valid? Be prepared for the anomalies. Also, redefine what we know about them.
Let's discuss about now data processing chain. This ensures the data accuracy and the data is well processed with a systematic way. So there are several steps involved in the data processing chain. From the figure we can see we have a data, then a database, then we have a data warehouse, data mining, and data visualization. Quickly, we can see the data. Data is unprocessed or unstructured data that comes from different sources like um, from the company's recorded data, maybe coming from the sensors, coming from the input of the users. After that, we have a database to store that unstructured data inside the physical space is called the databases. A raw data is stored in a database where it is organized data systematically. It ensures that the data is secure and accessible and ready for further processes. Then we have a data warehouse. From the database selected, data is moved to a data warehouse. A data ware is a large volume of data from multiple sources and organized into the format suitable for the analysis. It is optimized for the querying and reporting, making it central hub for business intelligence. After that, the same data is moved for the advanced things called data mining. Once the data is prepared, we move the data into the data mining step. This step involves applying different techniques, algorithms to identify patterns, trends, and correlation within the data. These insights can be useful in information decision making, prediction, and process optimization. And finally, stage is called the data visualization, where we reach data visualization, the steps that takes result from data mining and present them in a visual, appealing, and easy to understand format, such as charts, graphs, and dashboards. The visualization helps to stakeholders quickly and make complex data easy to understand for the information decision. In this slide, we will discuss about the data. Data is a raw, unprocessed information gathered from various sources. As we learned in previous slide, that data is always a raw material, or is not processed.
So process is required to apply on the data. Example, social media posts, transaction logs, census data, and customer interaction, clicks, and purchases. The foundation of the further processing data is growing rapidly. We know data is everywhere. We eat data, we play data, we generate million trends of the data every single second. In the next slide, we have this database. We already overview the databases. What are the databases? Their database is a structures or a systematic way to store and manage data for the easy access and modification. For example, we have a one table. Data is always in a database. Data is always saved in a form of objects called a table and different other objects. So a table is a main object within a databases. A database is managed by a database management system, which is called a DBMS. There are different sort of DBMS available nowadays. For example, SQL Server, Oracle, MongoDB. These are called DBMS, which used to manage the data within the databases. We can see one example of the database is stored in a table. We have five columns. Column name is order, second column name is date sold, product name, location, and amount. Then we have a data warehouse. A data warehouse is a centralized repository that consolidates data from multiple databases for analysis. It basically is a combination of different databases coming from different sources and within the same company. It's a basically centralized repository, centralized hub that do many things together, like doing pipelining, applying techniques to make a similar format of data. For example, we have retail data warehouse, integrated sale, customers, and inventory data. In a university, we have a student's record, we have HR record, we have teachers record, we have a staff record. So these all records are databases combined together within a data warehouse environment. These are used for the historical analysis, prediction, for example, trend and pattern generation. We need to have a time series analysis. Time series analysis is coming from the last patterns from last 5 6 years. So data warehouse is used for that purposes. Its purpose is to provide comprehensive view of data, deeper analysis, and insight. Then we have a data mining. Data mining is an advanced techniques that involves both statistical and machine learning things that try to mine the data, and they try to learn the patterns and uncover patterns and correlations and trends. For example, identify a customer's buying patterns such as frequent product pairing. For example, I am buying tea, so I should also buy the milk or maybe sugar. So there are like a pairing relationship or patterns among the products. Predictions of the customer behavior based on the past purchases. For example, how many customer will visit tomorrow for the restaurant? How many customers maybe for the store coming tomorrow or next week? So this will help to manage resources very well and easily. Purpose is to help organize make data-driven decision by uncovering data hidden trends. Now, finally, we have the data visualization from our chain. The data visualization is a graphical representation of a data inside to communicate finding effectively. For example, dashboard showing sales of region, customer demographics, and product performances. Each data can be visualized using line graphs, pie charts, and bar graphs to represent present trends, also to establish quick interpretation of data, support faster information, informed decision making. Instead of numbers, it's better to be visualized in a graphical way. It's called data visualization. And then we wrap up the today's lecture that what we have gone through uh, from the data processing chain data we learn about it raw material, and then we see the databases, data warehouse, and data mining and data visualization. Dear students, thank you for listening all.